We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Journal Newsbreak for Wednesday, May 2nd. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer, and we're going to talk about the top news and sports stories from Northeast Mississippi. But first, let's start with your weather forecast. Today we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a high of 87 and a low of 62. Looking ahead at your 3-day outlook Thursday, partly cloudy with a high of 87 and a low of 63. Friday, again partly cloudy, high of 81 and a low of 65. And on Saturday, there's a 90% chance of rain. The high is 76 and the low is at 58. Let's take a look now at today's top headlines. A project to speed traffic flow on Tupelo's Main Street got started this week. Traffic signal improvements have been a major priority for Tupelo's major thoroughfare program since 2016. Disputes about funding temporarily slowed the project. Consulting firm Neil Schaefer proposed a package of improvements intended to move blocks of traffic through the Main Street lights more quickly. Work began this week on the west side of town. High-speed fiber internet and wireless radio transmitters will allow traffic lights to communicate with each other. That will keep signal patterns consistent. Also, different timing patterns will run at different times of the day. Workers with Tupelo Water and Light have begun installing the necessary infrastructure to operate the new timing patterns. The improvements will likely be completed within several months. The major thoroughfare program paid about $187,000 for the traffic signal study, while the City Council agreed to pay about $500,000 for the final implementation. There will not be beer sales at the 4th of July celebration in Guntown City Park this year. Just before the Board of Aldermen was to vote Tuesday night on allowing alcohol sales as a fundraiser for the fire and police departments, Fire Chief Larry McCoy abandoned the matter. McCoy said they wanted to study the matter a little more before pursuing it. He had floated the idea of selling beer to raise money to purchase much-needed equipment for the town's first responders. Opponents of that plan packed a public hearing at Town Hall on April 26th. However, McCoy said the opposition did not sway him, and it appeared the proposal would have passed if the board had voted on it. McCoy said he would not bring up the proposal again this year, since the June 30th event is only 8 weeks away. But he does plan to do so again in the future. The Tupelo City Council has approved the latest mayoral nominee to the Police Advisory Board. Their Tuesday night vote installs a third black member to the board. That board had previously been criticized for lacking racial diversity. Marcus McCoy was nominated by Mayor Jason Shelton and approved on a unanimous vote by the Tupelo City Council. Ward 6 Councilman Mike Bryan was absent for the vote. McCoy works at Toyota Motor Manufacturing and also works in real estate as an agent. The Tupelo native has served in the U.S. Air Force and the National Guard. McCoy told the Daily Journal he believes that the board can be a tool to build trust with citizens and forge stronger relations. And in sports, the Houston High School softball team is headed to the Class 3A North Finals. The Lady Hilltoppers defeated top-ranked Booneville 6-1 on Tuesday to complete a 2-game sweep of the playoff series. Freshman Paige Kilgore struck out 10 in a complete game effort. She allowed 5 hits and walked none. That game came after Kilgore allowed 1 run and struck out 6 in the first game of the series. On Tuesday, Booneville got to Kilgore for a first-inning run, but Aquana Brownlee answered with a solo home run in the bottom of the inning. Houston then scored 3 times in the second inning to take control. This is Houston's first trip to the North Finals under Coach Derek Kirby. This is his 3rd year. The Hilltoppers reached the 3rd round in each of the past 2 years. And that does it for Newsbreak on this Wednesday. Don't forget that this show is just one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. Listen to the Prep Rally podcast with hosts Brad Locke and Dalton Middleton talking about the latest in Northeast Mississippi high school sports. Look for a new episode later today in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or at preprally.djournal.com. And each story discussed today on Newsbreak can be found in your Daily Journal or online at djournal.com, where you can also find a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Wednesday.